Welcome to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast,
where we've flipped the script with our groundbreaking modus operandi to bring you real, relevant, and relatable tactics and techniques to master your own play to win mindset.
Talk about a superpower. It's time to iron your cape.
What we know for sure is what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one is really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
Welcome to the Edge, where playing not to lose is not an option. So, Kara, the other day we were on a flight and I watched that amazing documentary called Becoming Led Zeppelin. And I said, I want to tell you about it, but I want to wait until the podcast. It is such a good episode topic. So Led Zeppelin, for all of those who, some of you may know Led Zeppelin, some may not. It's a band, English rock band, right? It was formed in 1968, hugely, wildly successful. Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, John Bonham, right? So just a really terrific era of music that was happening from Led Zeppelin. So this documentary really talked about how they formed, who they were before Led Zeppelin, how they developed and evolved as a group and such. I totally recommend it. The interesting thing was during one of the interview segments of the documentary, I think it was Page who talked about their approach as a band. And so basically, their philosophy as a group was that everyone has a voice, right? Not one person was more important than the other. Each was needed in order to be that configuration of Led Zeppelin. But what they said is it was so meta, like so out there. I loved it. What he said was Led Zeppelin was not the band, but it was the air that existed between them when they played, which is really kind of interesting to think about, right? So they're all up on stage, they're all doing a performance, and Led Zeppelin was the air that existed between the four of them as they played. So he even said, about the interesting part was for the drummer, for John, his right foot was so important to the entire system that it was all about giving John's right foot the space to be able to do what it needed to do so that the air between them was Led Zeppelin. I sound like I'm from the 60s, don't I, right now?
That's funny. It's funny, Jen. It almost makes me think a little bit, and I'm not going to go back into golf, but a little bit like that we talked about last week, that there's just something else. And how we talked about with Scotty, it's just like, oh my gosh, there's something bigger, obviously, than golf. And here, it sounds like this is really truly about that. This, I don't know, for them, it's more evident. I'm trying to think of it like a chemistry and a connection that and it was just so unique that defined the essence of who they actually were.
Yeah. It also makes it that they weren't members of Led Zeppelin, but Led Zeppelin was an entity in itself, right? So we always relate this stuff to our leadership. It's the systems approach of thinking, right? Led Zeppelin was its own breathing, living thing that the four of them worked in concert with.
Yeah.
No pun intended, right? But really that came together. So if you think about a systems approach, it's when, it's like another example of that would be you and I. We're in a relationship together, right? So sometimes when we come together, it's what do I need? And sometimes it's what do you need? And we find our best solutions when we say, what does the relationship need? It's the same concept as Led Zeppelin, right? So, what I mean by that is that sometimes we have to go above our individual perspectives to looking at the collective, right? So, we always say, what's in the best interest of the organization? What's in the best interest of Led Zeppelin? What's in the best interest of our relationship? Because then you get to operate at a different level. And so it's just it was such an interesting description of a systems based approach to this amazing rock and roll band, right?
And with that, Jen, with that systems approach and thinking about leaders, it's about being able to see the organization not just as a bunch of individuals, but as that interconnected system where the interactions and the relationships and those things generate outcomes that are bigger and better than any single part can actually do by itself. It makes me think that, all of us are smarter than one of us.
Totally.
Yeah.
And as you kind of look at like your team, let's say you're looking at your team and you say, yes, I want everyone to have a voice, and so doesn't speak up. There's a lot to be unveiled about that silence that is affecting the system, right? So oftentimes we just think individuals contribute to it, but everything that is being done on a team is a part of that system. So it's about looking at, does it work? Does it not work? What do I need to tone down? What do I need to turn up? How do we need to be thinking above and beyond ourselves? How, if so-and-so always monopolizes every team meeting, are they actually damaging the system? Because we're not hearing from all. Like, it's just, I don't know. You know me. I love music. I love documentaries, and I love leaderships and team. So when I just heard that for about Led Zeppelin, it's the air between them. Like, I love that. It's like poetry. It's beautifully said, and how it relates to the systems approach to work is just fascinating.
And too, Jen, it's that air piece of it makes me think of, just like in organizations, the air is constantly changing and the people are changing. So the teams need to always and continuously adapt to new things and new challenges. But one of the things that pops up for me as you were talking about this was, this air couldn't be created without the interconnectedness of the trust that they have. So when you talked about the drummer, right? It's let the drummer drum, right? Let the singer sing. Let the guy playing the guitar. Like, the drummer's not telling the guitar player how to play the guitar. So it's allowing the people to, have that synergy together that allows the next best version of whatever it is they're putting together.
I love that. Yes, it's not telling somebody else what they should be doing. It's about having everybody listen to the right foot of the drummer.
There you go.
That's beautiful. Anyway, Stairway to Heaven, whole lot of love, ramble on. It's amazing. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast.
Craving more? Of course you are.
Check out our website at kickstartyouredge.com,
where we fire you up, fan the flames of your competitive edge culture, and ignite your tenacious pursuit of an all-out play-to-win mindset.